Yes, good morning students. So in last class we discussed about the fission. Fission is one of the mode of asexual reproduction. So let's today take another type of asexual reproduction, that is budding. So all of you are familiar with the budding as you have studied about budding in the previous classes also. So budding word comes from the bird. Budding generally example already you know are the yeast and hydra. These are the two examples where we can see budding, right? This is the common method of reproduction in yeast and hydra. So let's try to understand first of all what is bud. So bud is a kind of propagule, is a reproductive unit which develop into a complete mature organism. To understand it, we can define, we should try to understand the definition of bud. Bud can be defined as, it is a projection or outgrowth. This is the projection or outgrowth developed on or in the body of parent organism. So remember, here keyword is, these are projections or outgrowths. This also can be called as protuberance. Sometimes we can call it as the protuberance present on the body surface of an organism. So bud are generally seen as the projections or the outgrowths which develop either on the body surface of organism or inside the body of organism. One more thing you have to keep in mind about the bud is bud are generally identical to parent. They are similar to parent. Identical to parents. So we will take example of hydra to understand it. This is identical to parent. It means this bud always have all the features, basic features of the parent. Okay. Third thing about bud you have to remember, like in case of fission we mentioned that organism divide equally. Here generally we see organism develop a bud and that is not equal. This is unequal. Please keep in mind, this is unequal and small projection. So this generally bud appear as unequal projection. This is unequal means this is unequal in size. These are unequal projections. They may be very small. So let's look into the keywords to define the bud. Bud can be defined as, bud is a projection, protuberance or outgrowth which is similar or identical to parent and which is unequal to the parent, that is generally smaller than the parent. So let's take one example to understand it. We will take first example of yeast, then we will take example of hydra. Before we take and draw the diagram of yeast and hydra, yeast is the example of budding in unicellular. This is the example of unicellular. Budding seen in unicellular as well as this is the example of multicellular. So please keep in mind, fission generally seen in unicellular organism only, but budding is seen in unicellular as well as in the multicellular organism. All of you know yeast is a fungus. In yeast, it is a common method of reproduction. Similarly, hydra is a cylindrate. Budding also seen in the member of porifera, sponges that we say. So in the lower organism, lower multicellular organism, bud is a common method of reproduction. Okay, so let's try to understand how budding takes place in yeast, in unicellular organism, that is the yeast. Then we will take budding in hydra. Budding is basically classified into internal budding and external, exogenous budding and endogenous budding. So that we will take separately. So we will try to understand budding in yeast. So keep in mind here also this is unicellular. That's why here also during budding two steps are there which are similar to the fission. That is nuclear division. These have two steps. Nuclear division, and this nuclear division is followed by cytoplasmic division. But keep in mind here cytoplasmic division is not equal. Unequal cytoplasmic division. Please keep in mind this is unequal cytoplasmic division. Unequal cytoplasmic division. Okay, how this takes place we can explain with help of diagram. So all of you know yeast is a unicellular fungus, Saccharomyces. Scientific name is Saccharomyces. This is the parent cell, or this is the yeast cell. This parent cell have a prominent nucleus. Now, first of all, we can see here in this cell elongate, and there is development of outgrowth or protuberance, and along with this the nucleus also start its division. It elongate, and here clearly we can see nuclear division, and this can be defined as developing bud. This is developing bud. Now in the next stage we will see here almost the bud has developed and nucleus is now divided already. This is the nucleus which will remain in the parent cell, and another part of nucleus will move. This is very important point to remember. After division of nucleus, this daughter cell will receive nucleus from the parent cell, so that will move into the bud. And next we can see here there is complete development of, this is a mature bud. This is a parent cell, so you can notice here also nuclear division followed by, this is cytoplasmic division or cytokinesis. Cytoplasmic division, this can be defined as mature bud. This is a mature bud, this is still a parent cell. So here we have to notice that unlike to the fission, here parent cell is not dividing into two equal cells. Division is unequal. As well as here you can see there is the existence of parent cell. Parent cell remain exist. Parent cell do not disappear. But in case of fission we have noticed that parent cell itself divide, and there is no existence of parent cell. But here parent cell remain exist, and ultimately this bud which is attached to the parent cell separate, and it act as separate entity. So in another word we can say this bud, mature bud, detach. And this detachment or separation of bud from parent cell is known as, we can give here term budding. The step is called budding. So very simple. This outgrowth, this projection formed from parent cell is known as bud, and once mature bud is formed, this bud, which is, you can see, very similar, this is identical to the parent cell in the structure. It is smaller in size are unequal, division is unequal, but this cell, this bud, the daughter cell formed is similar to or identical to parent cell. So formation of bud, and it is followed by separation of bud. This separation is called budding. Detachment is called here in budding separation. Sometime in some case on the same parent cell there may be formation of more than one bud, or there may be formation of chain of bud. So this is also seen, and this is generally takes place during favorable conditions. So in case of yeast, favorable condition is when large amount of sugar is present. When the medium contain huge amount of sugar, then such kind of division takes place, and this is very rapid method of reproduction. Sometimes if conditions are favorable, large amount of nutrients are present, there will be formation of multiple buds here. And this method of reproduction sometimes known as torulation. So the torulation word is somehow different, that is from the group torula it comes torulation. So this is also known as the chain budding. It is also known as chain budding. So this is all about the budding in yeast. This is the classical example of budding in unicellular organism. Let's take example of budding in multicellular organism. So we will take example of Hydra, and one more very important example is there in our NCERT book. This is of endogenous budding, and that is Spongilla. So Spongilla we have to remember, this is most important. So in multicellular organism, budding can be seen in sponges. All of you have seen cycon, cypha, these are the sponges. External budding sponges, as well as in the coelentrates. Sometimes this is seen in some of the annelids also, but most commonly buds or budding seen in the sponges and coelentrates. So coelentrate, the best example is Hydra. Here we can take example of cycon, right, and Spongilla. Spongilla is most important. This term you have to remember. This is the example Spongilla. Endogenous budding. Endogenous budding. So this is very important for exam also. Endogenous budding seen in the Spongilla. And these buds formed in the Spongilla are known as gammules. These are called gammules. This is very important. We will discuss in detail about the gammules. Hydra, exogenous bud. Exo means which is on the surface. Exogenous budding or bud. So remember here two words. Exogenous budding means on surface, and endogenous means in body cavity. So budding further classified into two types: exogenous budding and endogenous budding. Exogenous means on the body surface, endogenous means inside the body cavity. The best example you have to remember of endogenous budding is Spongilla. This is very important example. Spongilla you have to remember. Spongilla is most important example you have to remember. Endogenous budding. So let's try to differentiate them quickly with help of diagram to understand it in a better way. Exogenous budding and endogenous budding. Examples are very important. Exogenous, you will remember the example of Hydra. So here I should write exogenous budding, and in another hand we can write endogenous budding. Example already we have discussed, we have learned. Here example is Hydra, you will remember. This is the member of Coelentrata, and on the other hand you can remember example that is the Spongilla. Spongilla is a freshwater sponge. Spongilla, fresh water sponges. This is the fresh water sponge that you have to keep in mind. Spongilla is the example. Spongilla, a freshwater sponge. Examples. Then please keep in mind, if you draw the diagram of exogenous budding, quickly you can understand it. This is Hydra, all of you know. Here, you know hypostome. This is its mouth cavity. This is body wall. It has single opening. Member of Coelenterata. These are tentacles. Alright. Now, this is its body wall. And inside it, gastrovascular cavity that we have learned in class 11. Gastrovascular cavity. Now, from here, you can see in single diagram only we can explain. From here, from the gastrodermis, from the body cavity, there is development of outgrowth. This is the outgrowth, and this outgrowth is formed due to repeated division. This is very important. From the body cavity, from the body wall, from the body surface, from the gastrodermis. Okay, some regenerative cells are present. Here some regenerative cells are present. These regenerative cells are typical tissues which repeatedly divide. So here what we see, repeated division, and this repeated division lead to formation of outgrowth or projection. Okay, further development of projection. So you see here, this is body wall, and here after that this projection further develop into there is continuous growth, development, obtain nutrients from the parent body. Okay, and this remain attached to the parent body. So this is, we can say, developing bud. This is the outgrowth, simply mass of cells, developing bud. This is the mature bud. Mature bud. This bud is called exogenous bud because it is present on the surface of body. It arises from the body wall. Result of repeated division. Mitotic division. The division will be mitosis, that already know. Mitotic division. Obtain nutrients from the parent body, and slowly and gradually when it get mature, as I mentioned, the birds are generally identical to the parents. They have all the features of parent. Now after that there is a constriction, and this bird after maturation separate from here. So it's separate. Okay, and it act as and separate individual. So that already know, this is the parent organism, and from here ultimately this bird, now you see separate, right? And now it is a young one, new offspring of the hydra. This is a new offspring of hydra, and this process separation is known as the budding. Formation of outgrowth, maturation of bud, and then separation of the bud. So this is how the bud develop in hydra. And this bud development, this budding is the exogenous budding. So this is, you have to keep in mind, this is generally seen in, as I mentioned, generally seen in sponges. This is very important. Sponges and coelentrates. Generally seen in sponges and coelentrates. Sponges, all of you know, like in the cycle and cypha and all, our external bud can be seen. Outgrowth, or these birds are generally this one. Right. Next we have to take this, we should keep as it is. So it will help us to understand difference between the exogenous and endogenous bud. Next come to the endogenous bud. Endogenous bud, example Spongilla. Endogenous means bud develop inside the body cavity. So let's try to understand with help of diagram given in NCERT. So in NCERT there is a diagram given like this. This is budding in spongilla. You will find here this is right. Here this opening from where the birds come out is known as micropyle. Micropyle is the common term used for the openings. Alright, this is body cavity. So bird will develop inside. We will not go into much detail, but we will try to understand the keywords. Body cavity. Here all of you know when we say this is a porifera, member of porifera, so there will be silicaceous spicules. So here please keep in mind these can be doubled as spicules. All of you know spicules, that is the part of their exoskeleton and protective in nature, spicules. So this is the cross section of the body of spongilla. That is the body of spongilla. Now, from the internal body surface, there is a formation of mass of cell. Here we have the mass of cells. These cells, which are formed inside the body cavity, okay, are known as, this is very important word, archaeocytes. These cells are called archaeocytes. These archaeocytes are generally formed in unfavorable conditions, and each of the archaeocytes later on get protected, or there is a formation of thick covering along with small spicules. So these structures is called gamule. When archaeocytes get covered with thick covering of cutaneous covering, this cutaneous covering contain or have some spicules also. So these small reproductive units which are present inside the body cavity are generally after maturation known as the gamules. So all of us know endogenous. This is what we use the gamules. Okay. So please remember these gamules develop from a mass of cell. These cells are called archaeocytes. This is very important. Archaeocyte. These archaeocytes contain nucleus and cytoplasm. Remain protected inside the thick layer, cutaneous layer with spicules, and once they get mature, they may remain for many years or months, that helping pollination. As well as it get mature, these archaeocytes or gamules come out from the microphyles. Yes, so gamules are birds. So please once again you try to understand. The cells from which gamule develop are known as archaeocytes. These cells are present within the body cavity, and once these cells are formed, these birds are formed. Please keep in mind these birds remain protected inside the thick layer or cutaneous layer with the spicules. These gamules help the spongilla, the sponges in dispersal in the water because they are present in the fresh water. Okay, they are generally present in the warm water. When there is a decrease or sudden decrease in the temperature, okay, that time what will happen? There will be unfavorable condition for the survival of sponges like spongilla. In that condition, they produce the internal buds. So they help the spongilla to overcome or to survive, or we can say to continue their generation in hostile condition, in the extreme condition, which may be desiccation, or that may be very low temperature, or that may be cold water. In that condition, they produce. So please keep in mind 2-3 important words. The cells are called archaeocytes. Internal buds are called gammules. Example of organism where this is seen is the spongilla. Okay, and these mature buds come out from the pore called micropyle. Last point we should mention here, this is very important, that these gemmules help in significance of gemmule formation, help in dispersal. Why dispersal is important in sponges, that also we can notice. Generally, the sponges or the member of porifera are sessile, they are stagnant. When they are sessile, they cannot move from one to another place. In that condition, they have to spread their members to different part of the habitat using these gemmules. So these gemmules not only help in reproduction to produce the new organism, that also help in dispersal, because as they come out from the micropyle with the water current, they move to the other areas and they settle down and they grow. Dispersal, and also sometimes in case of extreme conditions, that also help in pollination. Pollination means to survive for many years. So this is very important to note here. To overcome the extreme conditions, that help in dispersal and pollination. This is the significance of gemmule. Along with this act as the reproductive unit. So now I think it is very clear that what is exogenous budding and what is the endogenous budding. Example of endogenous budding is very important, that is spongilla. Name of cells which develop into gemmules is archeocytes. Right? Here, example is hydra. Bud is defined as the outgrowth, protuberance, or we can say this is a projection which developed from some typical representative cell present on the gastrodermis or on the body surface, and that ultimately constrict and separate and develop into a new organism. So this is all about the budding. So let's take another method of asexual reproduction. We can take fragmentation. So fragmentation basically seen in lower plants like algae. Most typical example of fragmentation is Spirogyra, Eulothrix, and all these green algae and other algae also reproduced by the fragmentation. Along with the lower algae, fragmentation also seen in the fungus. Fungus, all of you know, is made up of hyphae, and these hyphae frequently undergo the breakdown, and each of the fragment develop into a new mycelium or new hyphae. Besides that, fragmentation sometimes seen in animals also. These animals are generally member of, there may be member of porifera. Fragmentation sometimes seen in some member of Coelenterata. Even fragmentation seen in the member of Platyhelminthes, or we can say in the flatworms also. So let's try to understand in briefly what is fragmentation. Fragmentation means to break down into pieces, to break organism break into pieces. Okay, so break down into fragments, and each of the fragment, here most important word is each of the fragment grow. So new organism developed by growth. Grow, develop, that include develop, or in other word we can say mature into new organism. New organism. So please keep in mind, most important thing, fragmentation what stands for the breakdown of any organism. When there is breakdown, there is formation of small pieces. These small pieces or fragments undergo the growth. They grow and develop, grow, differentiate, develop into a new organism. This very simple method of reproduction is called the fragmentation. So example we can take, that is the algae, and you already know the example of algae, that is Spirogyra. Okay, along with this fungi, this is also seen in some member of porifera, and we can mention Coelenterata also. Coelenterates. So now how this fragment formation takes place? Please keep in mind, fragmentation may be natural due to water waves or due to water currents. Fragmentation may be accidental. Fragmentation may be result of the predation. By any means, the organism break into pieces, and each of the part develop into a new organism. Okay, then only one we can use word the fragmentation. We should take example of that is already known to you. If you take example of this simple algae, this algae is having a ribbon shaped chlorophyll. This is Spirogyra. So if it break into two pieces or more than two pieces, each of the part will develop into a new each of the fragment will develop into new individual, keep in mind. So you can see here, due to any reason, maybe due to water waves, maybe due to any predation, accidental, there is a breakdown of the Spirogyra or the algal filament. That algal filament break into pieces, and each of the piece will develop into a new organism. So this is very simple and common method of reproduction seen in organisms. So examples are very important. In algae it is seen. In fungus, very simple thing, all of us know that, like this is hyphae, that may be branched, unbranched, septate or septate, that already you know. So this is a unbranched septate, or it may be branched also, right? So this fungal filament or hyphae, okay, may break into different pieces, and each fragment will develop into a new hyphae, and that may develop into a complete mycelium. So this is the simple method of reproduction seen in the lower organisms like algae, fungi, some lower animals like member of porifera, member of Coelenterata, and sometimes this is seen in the platyhelminthes or flatworms also. Okay. So this is enough for today. We will continue with the regeneration and some other method, very important method, that is spore formation, in the next class. Thank you.